Detroit Lions played their first Thanksgiving game against the Chicago Bears in 1934 and have been a fixture on the holiday ever since that 19-16 loss. The 2018 version of this NFC North rivalry matchup will be at Ford Field to kick off Week 12 of NFL action on Turkey Day. The Bears are a 4-point favorite with a total of 45.5 points, and these numbers seem to be working for the sportsbooks as of now. Some shops have opened Chicago at -3.5 and got bet up to -4. The Chicago Bears are in a tough spot this week after getting flexed from the afternoon game to the Sunday Night Football time slot on NBC. Chicago will only have 2 legitimate practice days between games and have to make the trip to Detroit on Wednesday for the early 12:30 p.m. Eastern start time. The Bears are 7-3 straight up and 7-3 against the spread, with a 7-3 mark as well to the over through the first 10 games of the NFL season. With a win over the Vikings, the Bears opened up a 1.5 game lead in the NFC North over the Vikings and a 2.5 game lead over the Packers. This is exciting as the Bears have not made the playoffs since 2010. First-year head coach Matt Nagy and first-year offensive coordinator Mark Helfrich have done a great job with Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears offense. Trubisky has stayed away from negative plays for the most part of the season with only 9 interceptions and only 19 sacks. Tariq Cohen has played the role of a Darren Sproles or Reggie Bush hybrid running back wide receiver with 4.3 yards per carry on 63 runs and 11.5 yards per reception on 40 catches. Trubisky has spread the ball around to his wide receiver weapons as the Bears have 4 guys with at least 25 catches, including rookie Anthony Miller, who is tied for the team lead with 5 touchdowns. Pressure is the name of the game, with the Bears defense having forced 27 turnovers this season and has had multiple takeaways in 9 of 10 games this season. The Detroit Lions picked up a huge win over the Carolina Panthers last week to snap a 3-game losing streak. That win improved the Lions to 4-6 straight up and 6-4 against the spread. The team stayed under the total, so the Lions are now 6-3 to the over. First-year head coach Matt Patricia isn't making many friends in the locker room, especially after forcing the team to practice outside in the snow and cold last week. But the Lions are now 4-2 against the spread as an underdog this season with 2 outright upsets. This is the 79th Thanksgiving Day game for the Lions. They're 37-39-2 straight up, but 4-1 in the last 5. This is the first time that the Lions have played the Bears on Thanksgiving Day since 2014. The Bears are 17-15-2 on Thanksgiving. The best offense against a good pass rush is a running game, but the Detroit Lions may not have that this week as Kerryon Johnson left last week's game hurt after rushing for 87 yards on 15 attempts. The reason why Johnson's status is so important is that Matthew Stafford was sacked 6 times in that Week 10 matchup against the Bears for a loss of 45 yards. Stafford was sacked 10 times in the previous week by the Vikings, but only once this past week against the Panthers, so maybe the coaches have figured something out. Protecting him will be the most important thing, especially if Marvin Jones is out of the lineup again. After the trade of Golden Tate to Philadelphia, the Lions do not have many pass-catching weapons. Newly signed Bruce Ellington was second to Kenny Golladay in targets last week, even though he had less than 2 weeks to digest the playbook. The Lions may have won last week, but the defense struggled, allowing 387 yards, including more than 330 passing yards for the second straight week. The Chicago Bears are clearly the better team between these two, but the situational spot is the great neutralizer in terms of betting this game against the spread. Chicago should still have enough to win, especially with Kerryon Johnson's status up in the air. But this is a quick turnaround for the Bears and a 24-year-old quarterback. The Bears are the pick straight up, but the Lions are getting 4 points at home. 2 weeks ago, the Lions were +7 on the road at Soldier Field, meaning that Detroit would have been +1 or +1.5 at home in that game. And now the Lions are at +4. That seems a slight overreaction, especially on a short week, so the Lions appear to have the advantage in the line. The over has been a good bet as well in games with teams on short rest this season, but the Bears are off of a physical game against the Vikings and the Lions don't have a lot of explosive plays, so we'll lean towards the under 45.5 points in this game. Our pick is for Chicago straight up, Detroit against the spread, and under 45.5 points. Want some free money? Click over to BetDSI.com and get up to $500 free cash to move your bets along when you open an account today. Join all the action with a few fun and exciting wagers, because it's only a game until you bet it.